on shaky ground, but we got the truth and we gonna shout it loud. From the healthcare to taxes, they can't hide from us. With a wink and a nod, we expose all the fuss. Educating the masses with a smirk on our face, bringing clarity to the headlines in this crazy race. From the White House to your house, we cover it all, putting humor in the facts, we're having a ball. Oh no, America, let's get real and laugh, teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind, only on Oh No America you'll find.
Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. Happy Tuesday. Joke's on me because guess what? I just did the whole show to myself because I was like, oh, nobody's here. That's okay. I'll just record it and everything will be fine. Except for I didn't click the go live button. And I just did the show to myself. And then I clicked the outro. And then my wife calls me and is like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I just did the show. And she's like, no, you didn't. It still says that there's people waiting. And I was like, oh, that's because I didn't click the go live. So yeah. Ta-da! I'm still here though. So now. Oh, guys, it was a good show. It was tight. It was in there. I was on the money, man. I was in the zone. But thank you all for thank you guys for waiting. I appreciate you all so much. Oh my God. Well, we're gonna do it again. One of the things I had pulled up went away, so I'm just scrolling feverishly, trying to get back to this very important part of the show here, which of course is Trump's Truth Social. And I'll just show you guys, like, this is when you're scrolling through his Truth Social, you got to really figure out what you're doing. So I'm trying to find something. Okay, so it'll be from this day, because it was kind of an important. Okay, stack the courts. What's that statement? Right, that's when he was announcing Dr. Oz. Oh, sorry, I went too far back. Yeah, okay, this is the one. This is the thread I was trying to get to. Okay, we're just going to leave this here. All right, so now we're going to start for real. Practice makes perfect. I love you guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so let's start out here. Let's go back to the beginning. All right, here we go. So here's the situation, guys. Trump has, Trump is now trying to turn over a new leaf. He's saying that he loves the press. He's going to work with the press. Everything's so great. He's all here for it. Kumbaya. And all this stuff. Now, for those of us who are older than 10, we know that that's not always been the story, right? Okay. So if we rewind the clock back to 2012, okay, when Trump really started a 4-year run for president, okay, during the very last Obama administration. Okay. So he was just basically everywhere. More and more and more and more on the airways, on every station, not just Fox and its affiliates, on MSNBC, on NBC, on CBS, on ABC. Every single station was doing one-on-one interviews with Donald Trump for 4 years. Okay. And if we rewind the clock 4 years earlier than that, you will recall that Trump started his basic inroads, okay, from turning from a Democrat to a Republican way back then when he started what? Oh, right. Birtherism. Okay. That Trump is the orchestrator of birtherism. Okay. He's the one that's like, well, I called Hawaii to get Barack's, birth certificate. And they wouldn't give it to me. There's something wrong with it. It's not real. He started that whole, rumor, right? Because he somehow, as a non-relative of Barack Obama, couldn't obtain his birth certificate, which, by the way, you can't in almost every state unless you are the person who was born dead or the person who birthed the person, or the significant other of the birther. Okay. And there are a few states that have exceptions, right? Where they have these weird little loopholes, where if the parents were married, like for example, in Massachusetts, if the parents were actually married, okay, not a single mom, but married from like 2000 and earlier, anybody can obtain those birth certificates, which doesn't make no sense. Like, why? If I was born in Massachusetts, I was born in 1976. That means my parents were married. That means that anybody could go and pull my birth certificate. Thank God I was born in California where you can't do that shit. But it's like, that's just insane. Why would any rando be able to pull anybody's birth certificate? That doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, so Trump started birtherism back in 2008 when we had Barack, elected to his first term. And he continued this rampant campaign of racism, misogyny, birtherism, otherism, all this stuff. And then about 2014, when he was in the middle of his big campaign where everybody thought, no one's taking this guy seriously. He's a clown. He's a joke. He started the fake news mantra. You'd point to the back of his thing. Look back there. Look back. They're so afraid they're in the back. It's the fake news, right? And he was talking about all of the major news outlets that were there covering his rallies, right? And this is how we gave birth to Trump America. Like, let's be real. If no major news outlets, none, except for Fox News, had gone to Trump's rallies, if CNN, MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS, all of the affiliates everywhere, if they had not put him on the airwaves, if you guys remember back in 2014, every time he had a rally, they'd be in the middle of like, well, today economic woes. Oh, Trump is going live. Trump's going live. Cut to Trump. Cut to Trump. Right? Like we were inundated on every channel with the live Trump rally, with him doing, his little dancing and all this other bullshit, right? And we had to then there was like the rallies were getting so long and he was so late all the time. They just had the little box at the bottom of the screen that was like waiting for Trump to appear. Like it was put into the zeitgeist, into the American brain pan, that Trump was the singular most important figure for us to listen to, anticipate, watch, everything. The American media did that. But he even got them to keep covering him by gaslighting them, okay, on purpose. So let's talk about our first definition here today, okay? Misinformation and disinformation. Misinformation, this is from the American Psychological Association, okay? Misinformation is false or inaccurate information getting the facts wrong. So if I say, Trump ran for president back in 2008, which he did not, that's misinformation. I got those facts wrong. Disinformation, okay, is false information, which is deliberately intended to mislead, intentionally misstating the facts. Okay, so the spread of misinformation and disinformation has affected our ability to improve public health, address climate change, maintain a stable democracy, and more. By providing valuable insight into how and why we are likely to believe misinformation and disinformation, psychological science can inform how we protect ourselves against its ill effects. Okay, so Trump doesn't just spread misinformation. He spreads disinformation, okay, which is far more destructive than the misinformation. Okay, there's not a person on planet Earth that doesn't misspeak, that doesn't get something wrong at some time. There is no person who has never opened their mouth to talk about something that has always been right. Okay. So misinformation is very, very common, and it can be easily corrected, right? Disinformation, however, is meant to warp your idea of the truth, okay, and put you psychologically in a position of defending that false, bad, wrong information that is harmful. Okay. So let's just look at Trump's, like, what he's trying to do right now. Okay. So on November 18th, this article here, let's take a look here. So November 18th, this is last week. Okay. It's 8 days ago. Trump says media is vital to making America great again and vows to work with a free, fair, and open press. Okay. So this is an article by Brooke Singman for Fox News. This is a Fox News article. Okay. So President-elect Donald Trump said on Monday that in order to make America great again, it is vital to have a free, fair, and open media. Vital, he says, okay? Telling Fox News Digital that he feels he has an obligation to the American people to work with the press, even those who had treated him badly beyond comprehension, okay? In an exclusive interview Monday morning, the president-elect said that he's in the process of transforming America into the greatest and most powerful country in the world. Trump discussed his relationship with the media and how he plans to interact with the press in his second term. Okay. In order to make America great again, it's very important, if not vital, to have a free, fair, and open media or press. Trump met with MSNBC hosts Morning Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski on Friday in Palm Beach, his first meeting with the two of them in 7 years. Okay. I received a call from Joe Scarborough requesting a meeting for him and Mika. I agreed that it would be a good thing if such a meeting took place. We met at Mar-a-Lago on Friday morning at 8 a.m. Trump said the meeting was extremely cordial. Extremely cordial. They just had such a good time there, Mika and Joe. Many things were discussed, and I very much appreciated the fact that they wanted to have open communication. In many ways, it's too bad it wasn't done long ago. Okay. So Trump added that they congratulated me on running a great and flawless campaign, one for the history books, which I really believe it was, but it was also a campaign where I worked long and hard, perhaps longer and harder than any presidential candidate in history. So this is where disinformation comes in. Okay. Perhaps longer and harder than any presidential candidate in history. Now, y'all, America, come close. Okay. Let's get real. Let's get right in here. Okay, America. So let's rewind the clock before television. Okay. Before the internet. Okay. Let's go back to the days pre-1900 where our presidents of the United States had to travel by what? Train from city to city to city, and then do a campaign speech from the back of that train where people would gather at the train station. And then what did they do after that, y'all? They got off of the train, shook all those hands, talked to the people face to face. Okay. And then they had to put their, words out in what? Oh, newspapers that were accessible to all the people and travel day and night, literally across the country, so that they could meet with as many humans that existed in the United States at that time. There is no way that Trump can liken his cushy cush lifestyle on Trump Force One, okay, and all the golfing he got in between the campaign stops, okay, to that life of campaigning harder and longer than any presidential candidate in history. But these are the things, guys. This is disinformation. His cult followers, the Trumpers, will be like, yeah, he's the hardest working president ever, right? So then what happened? Okay, so this is on the 18th. 2 days later, on the 20th, 6 days ago, Trump says to Rolling Stone says, Trump says Republicans must kill the bipartisan bill to protect press freedom. In 2 days, guys, he flipped it. I want to have this cordial, beautiful relationship with the press, free, fair, open press. Now, right? The post comes days after the president-elect dubiously touted the importance of free, fair, and open media. Okay, this is from Nikki McCain Ramirez. Donald Trump has sworn that he will exact retribution on his political rivals and critics. That includes members of the press. The president-elect is already demanding that Republican Congress kill bipartisan legislation that would protect American journalists from surveillance by the federal government and help shield the confidential sources or whistleblowers who speak to journalists from retaliation by law enforcement. The Press Act, which was introduced by Representatives Jamie Raskin and Kevin Kiley, passed the Republican-controlled House with bipartisan support in January, 11 months ago now. Okay, and has been languishing in the Senate for almost a year. They've just been sitting on it. On Wednesday, Trump wrote on Truth Social that Republicans must kill this bill, alongside a link to the PBS News segment interviewing Jody Ginsburg, head of the Committee to Protect Journalists and advocate for the legislation. Okay. So on Monday, he tells them it's vital to support a free, fair, and open media, but his rhetoric on social media and the plans he laid out on his campaign trail paint a very different picture. Earlier this month, just 2 days before the election, okay, so that's November 3rd, Trump told attendees at a rally in Lititz, Pennsylvania, that he wouldn't mind if a would-be assassin shot through the members of the media in order to make an attempt on his life. I have this piece of glass here, Trump said, pointing to a segment of bulletproof glass. But all we really have over here is the fake news, right? And to get to me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much. I don't mind that. Okay. Trump has repeatedly called for news networks who criticize him to be stripped of their broadcasting licenses or otherwise punished. A CNN review of his speeches and social media posts found that Trump had threatened broadcasters with the revocation of their license at least 15 times, most often against more liberal-leaning broadcasters and networks. MSNBC, and he said MSDNC, uses free government-approved airways, and yet it is nothing but a 24-hour hit job on Donald J. Trump, he wrote in November of last year. It is the world's biggest political contribution to the radical left Democrats, who, by the way, are destroying our country. Our so-called government should come down hard on them and make them pay for their illegal political activity. Much more to come. Watch. Kash Patel, who we're going to do a whole segment on later, a former Trump advisor who's now reportedly being considered for the role of FBI director. He hasn't been publicly nominated yet, but this guy is scary, scary. Said in a 2023 interview with Steve Bannon that a second Trump administration would prioritize civil and criminal retaliation against the liberal media, which he falsely claims helped Joe Biden steal the 2020 election. Okay. Yeah, we will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly. Okay, let's go to his Truth Social. Okay, so this is the post that he wrote 5 days ago. Okay, he actually wrote it. Yeah. So Republicans must kill this bill. And then he links to this PBS NewsHour interview, which is a fantastic interview. I will place the link in the live stream because I can't replay this. It's PBS. I don't even know if it'll play in the actual stream. But this is a great interview that you guys should watch. But let's just look at the comments under here. Okay. So this is Trump calling for literally killing off freedom of the press as we know it right now. Okay. Oh, of course, James Woods. To call the mainstream press today fake news is missing the point. More insidiously, the press today is a weaponized propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. While many more liberal friends may enjoy the slavish devotion of lapdog journalists, in the long run, it hurts us all. Misinformation, not disinformation. Misinformation. Oh, good. Let's retweet Elon here. Retruth him. Propaganda isn't just about creating fake news. It's also about hiding real news. Okay. The truth is, if it weren't for Donald Trump and winning in 2016, Americans would never would have known just how dirty the Democrats are. Am I right? Okay. These are just people who are Trumpers underneath here. Okay. who are you excited to see what a real America First government will do for our country? There's Elon, there's RFK, I can think of his last name, but I can't. Vivek. Okay, I don't know who that guy is. There's Tulsi. There's his campaign manager. There's JD Vance, right? Okay. The face you make when you're enjoying watching the self-destruction of the Democratic Party. Okay. Pardon the patriots. If you want the January 6th political hostages pardoned on day one, retruth that. Retruth it. Okay. There's another one here. Who else is ready for their return? Oh, look, we just have these loving pictures. Who else is sick of our Republican senators sitting on their butts doing nothing about this corruption? Guys, this is where all the disinformation, okay? I will rebuild America the way it was before Biden Harris took over because it was perfect. Of course, referring to his first, um, yeah, the fake sex scandals, guys. Not the fact that Trump was on Epstein's list. He's on Diddy's list, but it's fake news, y'all. Fake news, okay? I don't know if this is a real quote by Elon or not. Proposed law: if someone tears down the American flag and puts up another flag in its place, that person should get a free but mandatory one-way trip to that flag's country. I don't know if he really said that or not. I'm looking for one specific thing. But a lot of people have put a lot of other stuff under here. That's why I lost it when I went back. Did someone order freedom? Mm-hmm. It's time to investigate the investigators. Election interference fraud squad. These are actual prosecutors and things that are holding Trump accountable, right? Let's investigate those guys. The real commander in chief is back. Yeah, with his Sharpies. Like these images that they make of Trump that are not real, right? Takes a special person to give up so much for so many who hate him. What has he given up? He's only earned more money, y'all, during these campaigns. That's not why we're going after you, honey. It's because you're a disgusting sex criminal. Look, guys, there's a Black Friday BOGO for ivermectin here. It's an ad on Truth Social. Get your BOGO ivermectin. Worst president in American history. No, definitely not. Absolutely not. Not one building burned or store looted in the aftermath of the Trump assassination attempt. MAGA, because we're not animals. Again, another weird image of Trump. We've got the QAnon stuff here. Okay, we've got all this other like godly imagery. Oh, guys, you can get new MAGA Trump half price shoes. Okay, there you go. Get your MAGA shoes. Direct line to the boss. Yeah, I don't know about that. Where is this post? Yeah, MSNBC is up for sale, which is really bad. Where did it go? God's warrior for truth. Yeah. Oh, good. Sly. That's what we needed, was a picture of Sly. Guy on more ivermectin. There's a very important post. I'm so old I can remember when America had presidents and attorney general who didn't have mugshots. Here's a dissenter. Here's a dissenter on Truth Social. Here again, more QAnon. Obliterate the deep state. Well, you'd have to get, yeah. See, and this is another thing. This is not misinformation. This is disinformation. To try and say that there weren't as many people killed in the Holocaust as there were. And why have we put a top hat on the tiny mustached man from, 1945 Germany? That's what disinformation does. See, look, they're trying to make him look muscular. All these Photoshop images that make him look like he's beefed out. It's a fat tummy here, guys. Misinformation. Right? Misinformation. More QAnon. Look at these images. Like I'm looking for a very specific thing, guys, but apparently people have really oh, Another dissenter. Oh, this is the same guy again. He's just, he's going to get kicked off of Truth Social in a minute. So this is more QAnon stuff, right? This 1 and the 7. I have not, I mean, I've watched several documentaries about QAnon, but I don't know what the 17 means. Oh, the 17 words, the 17 words of the white supremacist manifesto. That's what that means, the 17 words. So, like, tell me again how the white supremacists and the white Christian nationalists aren't for Trump and that Trump isn't part of them. He's like, I'm sure he liked that image. Where is this thing? This is another QAnon thing. I can't remember what that stands for. But yeah, everything is coded. It's supposed to be, but there's a very key one, guys. I'm going to find it, I promise. But you guys can see this is just one thread on Truth Social that is literally just littered with disinformation. And this is what happens. They like to call, the liberal media echo chambers and all this stuff, right? But this is literally all Truth Social is. That's all Truth Social is. But I want to find this one. It was a very specific one about January 6th. And this is what people who Truth Donald, believe, right, about January 6th in particular. Because there is so much disinformation about January 6th. It's not even funny. Like, it's not, I can't even actually make a joke out of it because these guys don't even understand what they are, saying. Yeah. Kash Patel, guys, we have to dive into Mr. Kash Patel. He's an extremely scary guy. I told you guys that earlier, but literally, I'm going to go here and take up your questions and comments while I keep scrolling for that, because apparently I really lost it. It was a really good one. I'll find it. Let's go to your comments first. Is it narcissistic behavior? Oh, wow. What happened here? Sorry, Lorelai. I got to fix this thing here. I don't know why. Oh, no. Now it all went away. Ugh. Let me see. I have to pull it back up on this other thing. There we go. I just got to make it smaller here. There we go, Lorelai. Now you're on there. Is it narcissistic behavior? It is narcissistic behavior, so that's consistent. Say anything, mean nothing. Personal integrity? Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, the birtherism, everything else, guys. I mean, it's like we had such a short memory that we forgot that he started this entire campaign against our first African-American president about birtherism. And then he continued that rhetoric in a far more dog whistly subtle way by mispronouncing Kamala's name constantly, right? Which he didn't have to do, right? But he absolutely did. Okay, Truth Social just broke because I'm trying to, find the information here. I don't want the trending ones. I want the newest one. I broke it. I broke Truth Social. Controversial. Let's just see if I can find anything. No, it just breaks it when you try to organize these things. You cannot organize the posts underneath for anything here on Truth Social. It is this is absolutely a garbage dumpster fire of a social media place. There are no post results for January 6th. That is bullshit. I've seen them. Now it's just a gaslighting of the people in real time. I mean, like, I don't even understand. Anyway, it was a post that said January 6th, the day the government staged a riot to, cover up a stolen election, right? Let me see here. See if I can find it. No, not postponed. Yeah, it was a meme somebody made. Here we go. Yeah, and he shared this. He shared this meme. He retruthed this meme. So let me pull it up here. God, they just try to cover it up. Okay, so this is Donald Trump, and this is the meme that he shared. January 6th will go down in history as the day the government staged a riot to cover up the fact that they certified a fraudulent election. With an actual picture of the insurrectionists, right, on January 6th that he incited. This is disinformation, guys. This is how dangerous this is. However, this person, Fruit Snacks, and all the people that liked this, right, believe that this is 100% true. Okay? Other things. We, the people, demand Joe Biden free the January 6th political hostages. They're not political hostages. They're treasonous insurrectionists, right? Speaker Pelosi's handpicked January 6, 2021 Select Committee will investigate the Capitol riot. So they show this part. They don't show you the crowd down here. That was thousands of people. They just show you the 3-4 people who, for some reason, were like, I'm going to scale this wall. But not any of the 574 riots that took place in 2020. Yeah. And there wouldn't have been riots if those states hadn't deployed the National Guard. The protests were peaceful up until that time. Okay. During the arrests around the Capitol Hill attack, police seized enough ammunition to shoot every member of the House and Senate 5 times. That's a fact. That's not disinformation. That's facts. Okay. So when we have a president of the United States who is the president-elect for his second term, who is willing to spread, not willing, he just does it. He spreads disinformation at every turn, right? This is very dangerous because he's creating an alternate reality that people think they exist in, but they do not. Okay. The Freedom of Religion Foundation has, Foundation has a decal that says religion, the original fake news. That's a good one. We'll give that a. He latches onto the fake news, the names that don't sound white, and the political populist BS. It worked, unfortunately. Yeah, because our country is racist, y'all. Our country is racist, misogynistic, and his re-election is proof that the women's rights movement isn't over. All of these other things, guys. Disinformation equals alternative facts. Yeah, it's not even, that's making it nice, though, Truth Seeker. They're not alternative. They are lies. It's propaganda. This is what communist China, communist Russia, and North Korea do to their residents to keep them in this tiny bubble so that they will never leave, so that they don't believe anything outside of their bubble. That is what he wants to do here. He wants to create the same job security that Xi Jinping, that Putin, that Kim Jong-un have, so that he can be emperor of the United States forever and ever. And part of that, the main part of that, is exactly what the tiny mustache man in 1945 Germany did by dismantling the free and open press. It is always the first step of fascism to dismantle the way that we receive communication. If we cannot trust the communication that is being broadcast broadly, any dissenting voice seems false, seems deceptive, because it's not the same as everything else. It's not what our leaders telling us. It must be lies. They must be bad people. He's doing the playbook of the tiny mustached man, of Putin, of Xi Jinping, of Kim Jong-un. That is something all of those people have in common. There is no free press in any of those countries. And if you do decide to report facts and truth, you will be mysteriously thrown from a window, or poisoned to death, or hit by a car or train or something. Look at the reporters in those countries and look what's happening to them. Since the start of both liberal and conservative news propped up by Trump giving him free airtime on TV, yeah, they unknowingly made it possible for him to be president. Absolutely. I blame MSNBC for 2016 Trump. They were covering him way more than they covered Hillary. He got like 10 times the airtime that she did. 10 times. And it worked. He'd yell at them. He'd tell them how stupid they were. And he'd be like, well, we're going to see how stupid you are, sir. We're going to cover you all day, all night. The gaslighting affected them so horrifically that they became obsessed with him. And therefore, everyone in America became obsessed with him. If they had ignored him, if they had done what you should do to a narcissist, okay, and just literally been like, oh, you had a rally today? Oh, I forgot. It's just, I was getting my hair done. I was busy. We would not be in this situation. Because those people that are now firmly in the cult of Trump would have broken their own spells, because they would have had no way to reach their master's message. But we didn't do that. We gave in to the narcissist, and we highlighted the shit out of him for the last, since 2008. So for almost a decade now, he has been solidly on everyone's airwaves. Actually, that's longer than a decade. I take that back. For almost 20 years now. Right? So was that 16 years? Yeah. 16 years straight. It's not a wonder to me that in 16 years of him barfing out disinformation, that he has now shaped the country in a completely different way, guys. He had 16 years of free airtime. That's what happens. Combined, of course, with the fact of Cambridge Analytica. If y'all haven't watched the documentaries on that, please do yourself a favor. We'll go over those things too. But Cambridge Analytica was a Russian psyops operation that infiltrated every single sector of the American psyche via our social media, and is still doing it right now. Russia has won the disinformation war, y'all, without firing a single shot into our country. They have taken over Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. They're trying on TikTok, but TikTok might go away. Who knows what's going to happen with that? They can't take over Blue Sky, but they have taken over they made their own social media, Truth Social, right? And before that, there was the other one, Parler, right? But nobody really liked Parler. It was kind of a mess. I don't even know if Parler's still around, but Truth Social came up, right? And they have infiltrated every portion of the American psyche with bots, with people who just spend all day spreading these memes, spreading disinformation everywhere, 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 everywhere. And they're very good at it because they understand Americans at such a deep level, more than we understand ourselves. Why? Because they've spent the last almost 100 years doing nothing but infiltrating the American psyche, y'all. This has been going on since the Cold War. Okay, we've all seen those movies where young Russian kids are trained to be Americans. We've seen The Americans. We've seen Black Widow. We've seen all these things, guys. This is real. This is not fake news. Russia has been training Russian spies to be American, so much so that you would never know that they were not real Americans. We don't do that. We don't have a secret camp where we're training young children and making them believe that they're growing up in Russia and then tell them, you know, okay, now it's time for you to go to the motherland but you work for us and it's a whole thing. No, we don't. We haven't done that. We haven't done that here. We haven't done that ever. But Russia's been doing it for decades. Don't kid yourself and think, oh, that's just fiction. That's something out of a spy novel. No, that's fucking what Russia has been doing. And then training all these children and these people, that's expensive. That's like years and years and shit. So they just decided to get on the internet. It's much cheaper. And now that they've got a buddy in Elon and he's willing to turn on the internet or turn it off whenever they want, they have even more control. Don't kid yourselves, guys. This is big time stuff. Disinformation is whitewashing. He lies. Well, it is a technical psychological term, disinformation. Yes, and he is a liar. So there's a difference, and that's why it would be, disinformation is very serious, right? And they are lies, but they're lies that are specifically sold as truth, right? So I think that's why there's the difference in the classification, Shula. Yeah. Did I see the book for kids about Trump? It's a free book to teach kids about democracy. Jesus Christ. No, I haven't. I'll have to look into that. You ordered your t-shirt, Hate Won't Make America Great, with the words peace and kindness, peace, kindness, love, equality, hope, inclusion, diversity. I love that. I love that, Lorelei. Vegan postmortem. I accidentally did a pre-show many times. Today, I asked my audience to tell me in the chat, you are live and we can hear you, but the second show is always better, so don't worry about it. I hope so. I was very proud of the first show, actually. It's just a talking point based on overnight opinion poll, leading by opinion. I don't know what that means. I'm confused now. Has anyone noticed that since Trump won the election, YouTube ads has changed their advertising guns that you can get through security to advertising guns that you can get through security? Comedian acts have changed. They're more sexually cruel. Yeah. Oh, no. This is the Trump era 2.0. We had a dry run for 4 years of what limits could be pushed, okay, in the public, in private, and online. They tested the waters. Now, the one thing that was different during the first Trump administration, okay, if you guys will recall, is that we had a democratically controlled Congress. So a lot of the stuff that Trump was proposing, that he was like, I'm gonna do this, and we could have that little safeguard. We could sleep at night because we would be like, well, the Democrats are never going to allow that to go through. That's not going to happen, right? So he started with all these executive orders and things like that, and just usurping power and kind of like doing all these loopholes. He doesn't have to do any of that this time, guys. He doesn't have to run in circles to try and get his, wild agenda through. He has a stacked deck. He has a royal flush right now. If y'all are poker players, he's got a royal flush. He's got the ace, the king, the queen, the jack, and the 10. Royal flush. Okay. And with that royal flush, whatever he wants will happen. The only Republican that we've seen stand up to him, okay, and say, you're not getting your recess appointments, is Mitch McConnell, who's literally had strokes on live television. He should not still be in office. I'm worried for that man's health, okay? He will be gone within the first 6 months. He will either pass away while trying to do a press conference, because that's how much of a workaholic that man is, or, somehow the Senate will magically get rid of him. He's not in control of the Senate. He got voted out as, the big man on campus in the Senate. And you have Thune in there, who is a complete MAGA plant. Okay. So even Mitch McConnell, who I have despised for many years, especially after he pledged, I will block everything Barack Obama wants to do. Even if it was a good bill, he's, I'm blocking it. That's not okay. That's not your job. Your job isn't to stop democracy, Mitch. Now he's attempting to stop a dictatorship, a fascist dictator from coming to power. And it's a little too late, Mitch, because you done did this. You done did it. And now we're stuck with it, Mitch. So maybe you should have tried democracy earlier. I don't have a lot of sympathy for Mitch at all. But in Trump 2.0 era, there are no safe spaces. There are no, peace of mind moments for us out here who have any form of different opinion than that of a Trumper. That started already, y'all. I went shopping yesterday for Thanksgiving. Okay. And I had my hair up so you could see my undercut, because when I'm shopping, I tend to get hot, and it's hot in Costco, but I had my sweatshirt on because it was literally 40 degrees outside. So it's I could have taken the sweatshirt off, but I didn't. I just put my hair up. So I've got my hair up, and I went to 3 stores yesterday. I went to Costco, I went to Safeway, and I went to our local store here, New Seasons. Okay. In Costco, I was with my youngest son. Our youngest son here, he pushed the cart. Hats off to him for helping me out. And the amount of people who took time out of it was disgustingly packed in this Costco, guys. Okay. The amount of people who took it upon themselves to take time out of their shopping to look me up and down, to give me a scoff, was way more than I've experienced in past years, even during the first Trump administration, when my hair was super short and people were calling me sir everywhere. Okay. Safeway, same thing. And New Seasons, it didn't happen. Why? Because New Seasons flies the pride flag outside and says, this is for everybody. We love everybody, right? So now the rich Trumpers are either going to contribute to the, rainbow flag people getting, employment and things, or they're just going to shop at the other places where they can openly scoff and, do all that stuff for no reason. It's not like I was being a dick in Costco. I'm literally just oh, hey, excuse me, I'd like to get the, right there. And they're what? What's up with that? My mom is texting me right now. She's lovely. How am I? Mama, I'm good. I'm live, but you don't watch my show, so that's okay. My mom doesn't watch YouTube, y'all. She doesn't understand why people even watch YouTube. She watches her, she doesn't even watch Netflix, but she watches, Apple TV shows, and she watches, Hulu. But ironically, she doesn't have Hulu. She watches YouTube TV to access her regular TV shows. But she doesn't watch anything on YouTube. I love her. Oh, thank you for being here, Trisha. You get some sleep. Oh, now what says, I hope there are enough Republicans with a conscience to save this bill. In the Senate right now, I don't think so. I think we're screwed. I think we're absolutely screwed. Capricious Caroline, I love how this narcissistic dictator is promising to use our tax dollars to bring to justice anyone saying negative things about him. Yeah, great way to take care of us. Yeah, I don't need my tax dollars wasted on that. That's redundant. That's no, thank you. No, thank you. The press exists, among other things, to be the critic of the government. When the government goes right, the media is supposed to critique them. Yeah, doesn't make them left. Correct. Freedom of the press is part of our Constitution because if y'all remember, King George didn't let anybody say nothing bad about nothing. That's why we have our First Amendment right to speak out about the government freely without fear of reproach. Okay. And this is where our First Amendment rights, people think that that means I can go to the grocery store and talk badly about whoever's in line in front of me and be like, wow, you're a fat cow. No, that's not what the First Amendment is supposed to guarantee. It's supposed to guarantee my right, your right, everybody's right to say, I think the government stinks. These people are doing their job or whatever you want to say about the government. Even if I don't agree with you, that's your right to say that. You don't have a right to come to me in my face and tell me what a horrific piece of shit you think I am. Or even on the internet or anywhere else. That's not what the First Amendment's about. But we got it twisted at some point. That it means you're free to say whatever you want. And now he's trying to just change one part of the First Amendment about the press being able to critique him, to shine a light on his disinformation, his lies, his crimes. And then what's next, guys? This is a slope like this. This isn't like just a little grade. This is straight down into the gutter. The next thing will be no one will have the right to speak freely or write freely about what they feel about the government. Because Trumpity Trump can't stand being critiqued. That's as my my mom would say, tough tits. You know, that's not my problem. It sounds like a you problem. Yes. Remember when fake news was brought to light? Now everything is suspicious. Yeah. You have to fact check everything, guys. You have to, really, really make sure that you understand what is being said. Again, why I watch C-SPAN. Okay. If you watch C-SPAN's coverage of anything that's going on, and they often cover a lot of stuff, they'll cover press conferences, they cover things that are happening in Congress and things like that. You do have to literally go to the dictionary and understand a lot of the words because lawmakers use Latin for laws and stuff, which still doesn't make any sense. I don't know why we're still using that. But anyway. Abraham, oh no, not MAGA shoes. Yeah, honey, MAGA shoes. I'm surprised they aren't just Yeezys, to be honest. Because he's super right wing. But Yeezy's in jail right now. Oh no, that's not Yeezy. That's Diddy. Yeezy should be in jail, but that's a whole other thing. That would share. I feel like I wandered into an alternative universe in which most of America is batshit crazy. Unfortunately, this is what happens with 16 years of a disinformation campaign and the single-handedly largest infiltration of American society via social media by a foreign entity ever. Ever. Yeah, let's go back to the economy cratering, jobs being sent overseas, and then COVID. Try to forget the refrigerator trucks serving as morgues. Yeah. Guys, it was not a pleasant time under Donald Trump. Maybe there were less things and less protests and stuff, except for remember Black Lives Matter started under Trump. Does everybody forget that? That people had to go out in the street and protest and be like, hi, remember us, we're Black and we count and we have rights and we're human beings under the Trump administration. Even during a deadly worldwide pandemic that was completely out of control, people were so outraged by not being treated as human beings that they took to the literal streets of America to be like, we are people. But we're going to forget that. Right? Leandra Locke says there's a rumor, speculation that Bernie might start his own party. Ugh. Risky if true. Saw an interesting video on it by the Humanist Report here on YouTube. He's also from Oregon. Okay. Full disclosure, guys. In 2015, I was 100% Bernie Sanders. Okay. I went to a Bernie Sanders rally in 2016 at the Ventura Community College that was right across the street from where I was living at the time. My mom and I went. I thought Bernie had the best ideas for America, right? I really, really did. I really thought that his rhetoric and his political leanings was what I wanted. I also watched the DNC live and thought it broke my heart when Bernie Sanders' brother got up and, and then Bernie like interrupted the whole thing and was like, I'm conceding this whole thing. And I really thought there should have been a recount. I thought that he did win the Democratic nomination. And then I took like a day to have a pout and a tantrum in the privacy of my own home. And then I immediately started stumping for Hillary. Okay. Several things about that election pissed me off. There was talk about disinformation. Okay. There was so much disinformation about Hillary Clinton at that time. And I fell for it. I fell for most of it. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was highly susceptible. I had been conditioned since my young teen years to loathe Hillary Clinton, to absolutely abhor her. The American press made sure of that. At every turn, they critiqued Hillary. Okay. When she and Bill got married, she actually didn't take the Clinton name. She kept her maiden name because she's a badass bitch, right? She was Hillary Rodham. And then like 6 months into his gubernatorial time in Arkansas, the press was eating her alive. No one wanted to lunch with her. She didn't fit in. Her hair, glasses, everything was wrong. So she got, a political makeover, physical and, everything else. She had speech classes. She had to soften her voice. She had to get rid of her glasses that made her look too harsh. She had to do her hair in the evangelical way. And then she also had to re-announce herself. And if y'all remember, she was Hillary Rodham Clinton for many, many years, and then just became Hillary Clinton later on. Because people were so mad that she wanted to keep her identity as a woman. And listen, it was everywhere. I was conditioned by the media to hate this woman. And then Bernie comes along and he says all the right things. But guys, let's just say one thing about Bernie Sanders, okay? He has proposed and been a co-author on many very interesting bills in Congress. Do you know how many of those bills have passed Congress? I'll wait. Absolutely none. He has been in Congress now for decades and has accomplished literally nothing. I think I shouldn't say none. Some of that's misinformation, not disinformation. He's ineffectual as a congressperson. Most of the things that he proposes don't happen. Now, is that all his fault? No. But, as information came out about him and his wife, they're not part of the 1% of the 1%. They are very wealthy people. They're not like, living in a shoebox in Vermont. They have several properties, So the shine, let's put it that way, that I had on Bernie when I started fact checking stuff really went away. Do I love some of his speeches? Yes. I think he's given tremendous speeches in Congress. And I think he's right about a lot of things. But I don't think that he's an effectual leader. And I have the same view of him running for the office of the president that I do of Donald and Joe. He's way too fucking old. And I know, oh, that's ageist and all this other stuff. I'm sorry, guys. When you reach the twilight of your life, okay, there are certain things that happen. Physically, you're not as able. That's just a fact. You're physically not as able as you once were. I'm 48. I'm not physically as able as I was in my 20s. Okay. That's just facts. That's what happens to a human body as it ages. Okay. Secondly, now, although I do believe that Bernie has a lot of his faculties about him, okay, I don't think that he's completely senile. He's not he's not the quickest bird in the shed anymore, right? He's not, you know, that. It's the same thing with all of these members of Congress, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, all of these guys that are getting on to be octogenarians here. They're in their 80s, they're in their late 70s. They all have like sundowners. It's like literally 6 p.m. It's time for a night night. Okay. How do I know all this? My mom is 76, y'all. My mom is 76. You guys have seen her on my other channel in interviews. She's very funny. She's very bright. She's a smart lady. However, I have to tell her the same thing multiple times. She tells me the same story over and over because she's 76 and she doesn't remember the way that she used to. She cannot retain information the way that she used to. Right? And I don't think that anybody who is in the twilight of their life, number one, should be working that hard. That's just my personal opinion. I think they should be enjoying retirement and relaxing and just being, enjoying the sunsets and the beauty of life. Okay. That's my ideal world, is that you just get old and you get to enjoy the after part of your life because you earned it. Right. But that's not the situation we have here in America. But these guys who are in Congress that are a gajillion years old, that have been there for decades, they don't need to keep being there. They have enough money. They have given themselves raises every 2 years for like the past 20 years. It's not a money situation. They have it, unless they have like a severe gambling problem. But Bernie is not the solution. Young people are the solution. Okay? Young people are the solution, because if we go back to the original founders, they were all in their 20s, y'all, with very few exceptions. There was like a few spots where people were over 30 and, God forbid, 40 or above, because life expectancy was different at that time. It was urgent for them to build a democracy because they weren't going to live forever. And they knew it. Now we think we're living forever. Everybody should work until they're 90 because they can. Like, no. In some respects, we do need to rewind the clock and respect aging and respect growing old in a totally different way. I don't think it's respectful to expect 70-plus-year-old people to work, 10 plus hours a day at a hard fucking job like Congress. No, I don't think that's respectful. I don't think that's proper. And also, I don't think those people, once you get settled into your views of life, that you should be shaping what life is for the people who are going to live here far longer than you are. Okay? I'm 48. I'm going to be 50. That puts me in the old category that I'm talking about. I don't think that I should go be in Congress shaping the rules for the young people, because I'm going to be dead and gone while they're dealing with the aftermath of all the bullshit decisions that I make. I don't think that's fair. Just like I'm dealing with the bullshit decisions that those people are making. Right? I think government should be representative of the people. And frankly, the people that have to deal with the shit right now are the young people, are the Gen Z people that voted for the first time. And if we have any hope or prayer, those Gen Zs have got to start like understanding politics on a level that they do not right now. They understand memes. They understand TikTok dances. They understand, skibbity toilet riz. But they don't understand democracy. It's not important to them. They didn't live in that time. It doesn't matter. We have to get through to these young people or democracy is done. Period. Full stop. Leandra, here's the deal. Do I think the two-party system is perfect? No, but it's what we have. A new party would be great. But you're correct. There's no chance of them winning. None. And we're going to cover that in some other I'm looking the next episode, guys, is going to be about the family and the Federalist Society, because you want to know who's really running the country. We're going to talk about those guys before it's illegal to do that. I'm so tired of having to explain the actual facts of the vaccine. It's misinformation. It's disinformation, actually, Lanakin, that you can apparently even fight with facts. You can't fight it with facts because devotees will keep falling back to it. Yeah, no. The COVID vaccine has been so demonized, so incorrectly labeled as bad. There is no coming back from that, Lanakin. There is none. There's no way we are going to be able to convince our fellow Americans who are so deep in the Trump cult that any vaccine is valid and good for you. Now we're going to have RFK Jr. running that whole area. 0% chance. Okay. And I'm thankful that all my children are already vaccinated. Because babies that are going to be born under this administration may not even have access to things like the polio vaccine, guys. Okay, to the measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, because he believes, RFK Jr. believes that vaccine causes autism, which it does not. Autism is genetic. It's genetic. It's our genes, y'all. Okay. Yeah. This is, we have seen already here in Oregon, where I live, an outbreak of whooping cough. That should not be happening because people aren't vaccinating their kids. Whooping cough, guys. This is something we defeated decades ago. Decades ago. It's already happening. Right. You cannot vote if you're a convicted felon, but you can run for president and be a convicted felon. Somebody make that make sense. Guys, there was a 0% chance when the founders were writing the Constitution that they thought ever down the line that the American public would vote for a convicted felon. They were like, we don't even have to write anything about that. That's just obvious. That's common sense. Common sense. Jefferson even wrote a book, or was it Jefferson or Franklin? The Common Sense book. I have to look that up. But one of them wrote a book called Common Sense. Like, come on. You love my old Republican voice. Mitch McConnell, you have to let your jaw go and talk like this. Mitch McConnell. His face is so droopy, y'all. Mitch McConnell, I disagree with that. You just have to let your whole face become very relaxed. It's very, it's amusing to me to watch my face do that. Because normally when I'm doing that voice, it's just to somebody else. So I'm picturing Mitch McConnell in my mind when I'm making that voice. And then I don't know that my face is actually doing that too. So now I understand why people laugh even more. Rachel Standing, Russia and Cambridge Analytica, as well as meddling in USA politics, have been accused and seen to be meddling in British politics as well. There is no safety from that. Yeah, that's how Brexit even happened. And it's no coincidence, y'all, that Brexit happened the same time as Trump took over America. That's 2 wins for Russia without firing one shot against 2 sovereign nations. Putin's just trying to destroy Ukraine because he feels like it. And we can see how shitty his army is. It's like, why didn't you just run the disinformation campaign? I think he got bored with it. It was taking too long in Ukraine. And so he just went in there, guns blazing. And it's not going very well. But now, his bestie's back in power. You want to see how fast Trump's... who's got the bingo card on how fast Trump's going to flip on Zelensky? Yes, fake news will increase with the Pam Bondi and Scientology collaboration. Yes. Yeah. I ended a 30+ year friendship over the first Trump presidency. I was her maid of honor, knew her since high school. I figured we could not have anything in common if she was a Trump supporter. It's very hard, y'all. I have people in my life who are dear, dear friends to me, who are absolutely Trumpers. And trying to quietly convince them that they have, that they love me, but they're voting against my own life and my own interests and my ability to be married to my wife because they have like the one issue that's, immigration. Like, okay, there are other solutions to immigration than voting my marriage out of existence, voting women's rights out of existence, And also, he's not going to solve immigration, y'all. Rounding people up summarily and throwing them away like trash, that's fascism. Using the military to do that, that's fascism. It's not democracy. And you voted for it. So I get that. So now I only go where pride t-shirts are everywhere I go. My teens desire a mom who stands up. I'm proud of you, Lorelai. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, Eaglewood. You have to change the national anthem, Land of the Free. Yeah, no, it's not. But they love the national anthem, y'all. Land of the free and home of the brave. Yeah, it's MERICA everywhere. Guys, if you're under any sort of disbelief that America is completely taken over by a cult, let's just look at this here. Okay? So, these are images that are real images that people have put out, okay, about Jesus. Okay. So this is what the Christian right is pumping out. These are the memes. Okay. Jesus never held an American flag. Now we've got Jesus with like an American flag draped over him. He's the shepherd. And we've got John Wayne and we got Trump hugging the flag. Okay. We've got Jesus, okay, with wings. That's interesting. With the American flag and eagles around him with, I mean, it's just American Jesus is frightening. Jesus is, of course, white, right? Here he is with, again, the American flag draped over him. Jesus, there was no America when Jesus of Nazareth existed. Okay. But they paint him, it's a literal, looks like a painting, as this sacrificial lamb for America. Jesus has nothing to do with America. Jesus was a Jew from Nazareth, right? Who some people thought was the Messiah. And the rest of the Jews were like, that's not our guy. We're not sure. Okay. Like, okay, so he made some, bread for everybody, made some fishes. Like, we're still waiting. We'll wait some longer. Okay. And that's, but these things are ridiculous, y'all. I mean, this is what part of what they believe, right? And so if you look for Trump and Jesus together, here we go. Trump was anointed by God. Here he is in the oval with Jesus, literally with his hands on his shoulders. Okay. Trump he can't quote you one verse from the Bible. He's never even read it. He doesn't know nothing about it. Oh, good. Here's Trump Jesus. Here's Trump Jesus. Like, these are the things that these guys right here, unto us a son is given and the government shall be upon his shoulders. That's what they believe. Okay. So it's not just disinformation at this point. They are literally rewriting the Bible to put Jesus in America. I mean, the Mormons did that. They already have American Jesus, right? But they don't want to be Mormon. So the evangelical right is like, well, we're going to do it this way instead of just making the American Jesus story. Okay.
There's an elephant in Donkey Kong.
Ah. Wrong button, Nora. Yeah, Lorelai, I'm sure you have. I've had so many friends ask to come live with me. I'm willing to rent a place where we can all live. Yeah. Yeah. Adam Carmona says, after decades of bitching about postmodernism, we have completely ideological, vacuous postmodern right wing. Yep. Yeah. The best part about Bernie Sanders' brother is he is named Larry Sanders. Yes, that is true. That is true. Oh, Leandra, you're just agreeing with me here. Oh, for sure, he's way too old. If you were to form a party, other people would have to lead it forward. But the fact is, Dems are too conservative too. Yeah. I mean, here's the deal. On both sides of the aisle, whether you're extremely left or extremely right, and you have a moderate in those positions, those people on either side are like, fuck that guy. He's not getting it done the way I want, right? Because that's why there's extremes. Right. And when you say there's not, there's no extreme leftist, like we've never had a fully liberal president or, a person in that much power in this country, with the exception, I will say, of Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter was probably the example of the most liberal president we've ever had in this country. What was one of the first things he did? Okay. So Jimmy Carter was a peanut farmer. Right. So as part of becoming president, he sold his peanut farm. This was a farm that had been in his family forever. Okay. And he sold the farm. Why? Because it would be a conflict of interest for him to keep the peanut farm. Okay. So he could dedicate all of his attention and time to America. And then one of the first things he did as president after that was put solar panels up on the White House. Why? Because he was telling people and said, this is the future of our energy. We need to move away from fossil fuels. We need to start investing in alternative fuels. The same thing, ironically, that RFK Jr.'s dad was talking about right before he was assassinated. Right? RFK, who was a staunch liberal, who had fought for civil rights, okay, was all about alternative methods. He had toured the coal belt and was like, these people are dying and we're polluting the earth at the same time. This is not a solution. And then mysteriously, Sirhan just appeared at his last rally and murdered him in the kitchen. It's not a coincidence, y'all. It's not a coincidence that those things happened. What's weird is that RFK Jr. has literally just like flipped into the exact opposite of his father on every point. His father is literally rolling over in his grave at what he's doing, like 100%. Okay. But change is not immediate. Change takes time. This Trump administration coming into being, this America that we're seeing, 16 years, guys. 16 years this has been at play. 16 years. That's what it takes to change a country's tone completely into a cult. 16 years. That's what it took. Nora's mom tuned in this one time. No, she just texted me. I got to text her back when I'm done. You won't trust Gen Z till they get rid of their mushroom haircuts. Yeah, those are Those are not good. My husband, this is from Kim. My husband almost died from the virus and got the vaccine and boosters, and yet my in-laws refused to take it because they believe the lies. My brother-in-law said it had a tracker. Yeah, you can't put a tracker in the needle that's that small, y'all. That's not it's not possible. We don't have that nanotechnology, but I love the initiative. My husband has a man that works for him that's literally 78 and can't afford to retire. It's disgusting. Yeah. Yeah. I work at a public library. At a CPR training last week, the instructor, represented for the American Heart Association, said he sees increased anaphylactic allergic reactions and seizures caused by COVID vaccine. No, that's not real news. I don't know why he would say that. Yeah, I'm so angry that the MAGA racist homophobes have co-opted the American flag. It's total nationalism. Yes, America first. America first. Where have we heard that slogan before? Our country, insert country name first. Germany, 1945. Not patriotism, and it's our flag too. Makes me so mad. Like, guys, do you remember the former German national anthem? Deutschland, Deutschland, über alles in die World. Germany, Germany over everything, over everyone in the world. Where are we at? America. Great. The greatest nation. The best nation. Same vibe, y'all. Same vibe. Chandra, I don't know if I got that. I will look in my email inboxes to see if I can find it, but please send it again and I'll look for that. Correct, Kim. I don't think that they do stand for what most Christians believe. Like I said in a previous broadcast, in my personal opinion, I consider there to be two types of Christians, no matter the denomination. You either have the MAGA Christians right now, or you have what I call the Jimmy, Dolly, Willie Christians, right? And those are three people that have demonstrated over decades what an actual Christian believes and does when they follow the teachings of Christ. MAGA Christians are the exact opposite of that. You know. I don't agree with this statement, Adam, but I'm going to read it. RFK Sr. was as opportunistic as his son. I do believe he was opportunistic. He rode Joe McCarthy's coattails into power. No. I'm gonna push back on the McCarthyism because he was definitely against McCarthyism. He wasn't a proponent of that. Absolutely not. Joe McCarthy is one of the worst human beings that's ever been existed in America. And if he were alive today, he would absolutely be in Trump's cabinet, 100%. Christina Radish says the best part of everyone who won't get the COVID vaccine because they're all convinced there's a tracker in it is have absolutely no problem carrying cell phones that track everything they do. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, that version of the anthem is illegal here. I mean, you can quote it academically. Yeah, that's right. Germany made that a crime, guys. Nobody sings the Deutschland, Deutsch. That was even the anthem still when I was a kid. And they changed it in the post, when Ronald Reagan said, "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall." Yeah. And then that anthem went away. Good job. Good job on reporting him, Lone Dinosaur. Good job. Absolutely. Adam, I know, but I'm still saying that publicly and what he proposed was the exact opposite of McCarthy. He was not a McCarthy, he didn't believe the communist, Red Scare rhetoric that McCarthy was doing, and worked hard against it later. So, but we can have a good debate about this, Adam. I'm enjoying that. Let me get to you guys' questions here, because I've gone off on a lot of tangents, but that's me. I apologize. Did I get the gift? You know what? I haven't been to my mailbox. I need to go today. I will go today. I will check it out, Cher. Does a president who's hell-bent on destroying the government and economy deserve to get the cabinet that will assist him to do that? No, absolutely not, but he's going to. He's going to. He is the royal flush. I am on Blue Sky. I'm on Blue Sky as Liz Warren's jacket. Liz Warren's jacket. That's me. You'll see my picture. That's just me on Blue Sky. I haven't made like a professional ohnomerica or anything on there. I probably should, but that's me. That's the real me on Blue Sky. Do I think the Department of Education will require children to have class on? No. When I was, yeah, there was a lot of old people still working. Yeah. They will work you till the day you die. 100%. 100%. But that's the type of doctrine, the type of rhetoric that Trump is trying to put in by taking away everything. Everyone's like, yeah, no more taxes on overtime. Yeah, bitch, they're not going to pay you overtime. There is no more overtime. Good luck. Because they're not required now. Oh, the tariffs, China's going to pay. No, bitch, you're going to pay more. You're going to pay more for your phones, for your television sets, if you really are that against China, okay, and you're that against foreign entities, throw every electronic you have in your house out. Throw it out. Throw it out. Oh, but I got Samsung stuff. It comes from Korea. No, you don't, bitch. Yeah, Samsung, the company, is from Korea. Over half the components in your Samsung shit comes from where? Oh, China. There is no company, electronics company, in operation right now that does not get no components from China. And if somebody knows of one, you go ahead and tell me right now. Oh, okay. So they had a different anthem. They had a totally different anthem in East Germany. Okay. Well, I'm not German, so I don't know. I just remember when Ronald Reagan took credit for Carter's negotiations with Gorbachev. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall. And, we all celebrated as the wall came down. And we had a united Germany again. I remember a lot of people here in America, like my grandparents, were super scared about a united Germany again at the time, because they're like, it's going to happen again. But they didn't realize that it was going to happen right here in their own backyard. That the NAZIs would be back, baby. It just happened here in America. Yeah. Yes, I did see the news that Elon is thinking about buying MSNBC and doing a Twitter with it. And he has the money to do it, guys. He has the money to do it. If Universal is so desperate for money right now, and Elon has the highest bid over somebody like the Shark Tank guy, who I can't think of his name right now, who owns the Mavericks. He was also rumored to be wanting to buy it, right? If Elon outbids him and he has more money than him, we're screwed. That's the start of the end of network television. I mean, you just may as well turn it off. Turn it off forever. Oh, the East German anthem was the party is always right. Mark Cuban, thank you, Rox. Mark Cuban. So let's hope that these two billionaires have a billionaire off and Mark Cuban wins. Okay. But Elon's got more money than him. And he also has the supreme backing of Trump. And if that sale doesn't go through, let's say to Mark Cuban, Trump will make sure Elon gets the bid. That's how that'll go. We our freedoms, guys, these things that we take for granted on a daily basis, they will be eroded. Please don't get it twisted. Please don't be naive about what's happening right now. Okay? My attempt during this show is to make sense of the horrific things that are happening by being able to utter them out loud to you guys and discuss it. But do not get it twisted and think that there's going to be some miracle, something that's going to happen. The only things that are going to happen in this, yeah. Oh gosh, I moved my thing. You guys can't see that, but I can. Joe Buchanan says most TV brands, Sony, Samsung, etc., have LG components inside and are based in South Korea. Now, LG, they actually stopped making a lot of those components for consumer electronics that aren't their washer dryer division. They closed their whole phone division unannounced, right? But the TV brands do still exist because LG is still somehow making their televisions. They stuck to televisions and washers and dryers and fridges, right? But they closed their entire tablet, laptop, and phone division down without telling any of the phone carriers, by the way. Okay. And yes, all these companies have each other's parts. They're all bastardized things. This iPhone isn't just Apple components. Okay. For many years, Apple used Samsung screens, right? This is not a Samsung screen because this is an iPhone 16. But there are components from other companies inside here, batteries, blah, 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 blah. This is assembled in China. They don't have an assembly plant here in the United States, right? So, yeah. Oh, Blue Sky is promoting more dialogue with MAGA? No. I say no to that because MAGA has its own dialogue hub. It's called Truth Social. There was a weird sound outside my garage. I didn't know what it was. It's just, it's Tuesday, so it's garbage day, and there's a large garbage truck right outside that you guys can probably hear that now, right outside the garage door here. But it was his very squeaky brakes. It's like, so I thought it was either a sick geese out there, or my dog was whining very loud. But the thing we have to understand, guys, is that yeah, my handle. Let me. It's Liz Warren's jacket. It's all one word. Liz Warren's jacket. That's my handle. That's my handle. I'm glad you guys can't hear it because it's like. But let me. Will it be the end of Fox News? No, they will combine powers. It will just be the same broadcasting, but like even scarier. Let's be honest. Let's be 100% clear though. Okay. Our freedoms that we take for granted here in America that are guaranteed by the current form of the Constitution, okay, are going to be slashed faster than a Spirit Halloween selling off its stock the day after Halloween. Okay. This is going to be a fire sale of American democracy to the literal highest bidder. Okay. And then once that's done and we have these autocrats and, fascist leaning MAGA, cult members in place in all of the key positions, then once the lefties, the liberals, the queers, the few women willing to stand up and say, no, thank you, are pushed too far, Too many things become too hard for us to do. Just normal shit. Going to the grocery store, getting a job. Once that stuff becomes unbearable, there will be another civil war in this country. Please do not get it twisted, y'all. Do I want a civil war? Absolutely the fuck not. Do I know by looking ahead at the chessboard that is currently being played that there will in fact be a civil war to try and drive out any dissonance, any type of disagreement or MAGA type of belief in this country? Yes, there will. And if we thought our first civil war was bloody and bad, they didn't have no AK-47s, y'all. They didn't have no bazookas. They didn't have no frag grenades. They didn't have people who literally their garage is filled with their own private arsenal across the country. That's what we live in right now. We live in an armed and neurotic, psychotic America. And the sooner we come to terms with that, and the sooner we understand where we are and stop trying to wish away the reality of what's happening, maybe we have a chance. Maybe we have a chance. But the whole West Coast won't make a country, Rocks. The whole West Coast won't want. You know why? I'll tell you why. Oregon is not a blue state. I live here. I can tell you that with 1,000,000% certainty. Oregon is not a blue state, period. We're not even a purple state, y'all. There just happens to be like a very small percentage more voting people who vote blue than vote red. Our governor, Tina Kotek, who is a lesbian, okay, and has vowed to protect gay marriage in this state, won by such a fucking narrow margin, guys. We were holding our breath for a week here while the votes were being tallied. She will not win another election here in the Trump era. This state will go red, completely red, at the next, state house and state senate and gubernatorial election. That is 100% true. When I drive down the street in my neighborhood here, okay, in the Portland metro area, in Beaverton, I see more and more, MAGA stickers, Oregonian stickers, people flying the Trump flag, the enormous flags at the back of their trucks. Even like soccer moms, right, have started adorning their minivans and, third row SUVs with MAGA shit. There is no West Coast alliance. California, where I was born and raised, y'all, is also not really a blue state. Much like Oregon, in the large swaths of areas, okay, where people exist and they're doing farming and other stuff, California is blue right along the coastline. San Francisco, San Jose, Los Angeles, Santa Barbara, Malibu, right? Okay. And if you just took those populations, they could make a couple states in America. There's that many fucking people living in those areas. However, all of the inland areas, in SoCal, in Central Cali, in Northern California, especially from Sacramento up, is all red. 100% red. Those people want to segregate from the state of California and make the state of Jefferson. They have been in talks with people from the tip of Idaho and southern and eastern Oregon to form their own state because they're so tired of the liberal elites in the coast voting away their rights. And if you drive up 101, okay, Highway 101 from San Francisco north, you're going to see immediately where it goes from blue to red. Because as soon as you hit that red area, as soon as you get to Eureka, Crescent City, you start seeing the dilapidated, the absolute just exit of commerce, the exit of any help in those areas. You just see people like my wife and I drove that, I want to say 6 years ago. Okay. 6 years ago, y'all. There was just like, we drove through one town in Northern California that was like right close to the border of Oregon, where there was like a crack house. Okay. And the only reason I'm contextualizing it as a crack house, this was clearly like a motel that had just like, it's been overrun. There's mattresses on the street. There was people fornicating in the parking lot on a bare mattress. I mean, they clearly weren't in their right mind. There was, enhancements going on. But this was clearly a red area. Trump signs everywhere and then nothing. They voted for Trump. What did they get in return? They didn't get businesses coming back. They didn't get the boom that they were promised. They didn't get any assistance from the government. And it's the same thing. If you drive along the coast of Oregon, there are like 3 nice cities. The coast of Oregon has been decimated, y'all. It is the most dreary, depressing place in the world that I've ever been. With the highlight of like a couple cities that have managed to keep drawing enough tourists to make it profitable to live there. Okay. But the rest of Oregon is a fucking ghost town there. And if you go to Eastern Oregon, it's the same thing. They haven't been helped. They don't have the commerce. They don't have all this stuff, right? It's insane. But yet these people keep voting against their own interests because of the disinformation, because of the lies, because of all of the things that we're talking about here. So no, Oregon is not a blue state. California is not really a blue state either. Washington pretty much is a bluer state overall per capita than any of the other ones, but it also has an extremely large red population, especially here in the southern part of Oregon, Washington, that touches, like when you go across the bridge into Vancouver, hugely MAGA country there. Most of lower Washington, eastern Washington, MAGA country. Where is it not MAGA country? Seattle. And yes, it's a huge populous area. So the majority of the population lives in the Seattle metro area, right? It's the same thing in California. You have these little spots. Same thing here in Oregon. You have the Portland metro area where most people live. And so there's just a tiny bit more blue people, but Oregon as a whole, not a blue state. Not a blue state. And people go, well, we could go to Canada. Canada's in the same fucking mess that we're in, y'all. The MAGA shit has breached. It's breached the Canada border. Canada's not a safe place to go. Also, they don't want us. It's too many fucking, they got an immigration problem too. It's called Americans. Right? Yeah. It is bad. It is bad. America has little blue beacons throughout it, y'all. But this is the thing we have to realize. Just like white people in America have to realize we're not the majority anymore. Okay, white people, we're not the majority in this country. Liberals are not the majority in this country. We're not. That's facts. Look at the election map, guys. We used to see red in all these areas that weren't populated. And we were like, okay, of course they won because there's like 20 people there. That's not the case. Look at the election map. Look at every single county that went red. That's a reflection of the country. That's an absolute reflection of the country. There will always remain these tiny little spots that are, snowflake areas, as the MAGAs like to call us. Oh, see, guys, I got to change these lights. How embarrassing. There we go. How embarrassing for that to fall down in the middle of the show. But we have to be real. We have to be real about what we're in right now, guys. Okay? We are in a situation that's happening to us. There is no turning back. There is no turning this boat around. We're on the Titanic, y'all. We're on the Titanic. So we have some choices. Okay? We can get on a lifeboat and get the fuck off the Titanic, or we're going to end up like fucking Jack. I don't want to end up like Jack. I'm not going to be Jack. I'm going to get on the motherfucking door with Rose, and we're going to get rescued. Okay? But we literally have to realize where we're at. We're on the Titanic, y'all. Don't be the band playing the ship down. Don't be the captain. Don't nobody care if the captain goes down with the ship. That's just bullshit. Get the fuck off the boat. Regroup. And figure it out. Or it's going to be figured out for us. But we're not going to change the past. We're not going to change this election. We're not going to change any of those things. We really have to stop trying to make fetch happen. Because it's not going to happen. Okay? But we got to get on that lifeboat, and we got to huddle up against the cold, against the freezing water that we're in. Okay? And just like Rose did when she was, the guy was still hunting her, she hid and she came out victorious, right? Because she had a life. She lived a full and glorious life. She protected herself and she made it. That's what we have to do. And if you can help somebody during that, help them out. Because there's going to be a lot of people that are going to need some help. But the sooner we realize where we're at, what's happening, the more prepared and the better we will be and the safer we'll be in the long run. This dismantling of the press is just baby step number 1 to full fascism in this country. Be ready to stand your ground. Be ready to stand up for what's right. Be ready to, take care of yourself and those around you that you love. Because they're going to need it. Okay, guys. I know this is doom and gloom bullshit. It's horrible, but that's facts. I'm not gonna sugarcoat this shit, guys. It's real. This is real talk. Okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back tomorrow with more ohnomerica. And coming up later today, if you guys follow me over on my other channel, Raised in Scientology, I'm going to have some Scientology shenanigans over there. Please like this stream, subscribe. If you guys have not been to the ohnomerica merch store, I'm going to pull that up here. Why can't I do it? There we go. It's ohnomerica.com. Go check it out. Please, if you want to get some swag, we've got tank tops, tees, sweatshirts, beanies, hats, a bandana, a cup. We got a beer koozie, y'all. And of course, the flashy ohnomerica sticker. Go check that out. It's Christmas time. It's Hanukkah time. Get something for a loved one or just for yourself. Treat yourself. All right, guys. I love you, and I will see you guys next time.
There's an elephant and donkey both on shaky ground, but we got the truth and we gonna shout it loud. From the healthcare to taxes, they can't hide from us. With a wink and a nod, we expose all the fuss. Educating the masses with a smirk on our face, bringing clarity to the headlines in this crazy race. From the White House to your house, we cover it all, putting humor in the facts. We're having a ball. Oh no, America, let's get real and laugh. Teaching you the politics with a little bit of sass. Current events and headlines that blow your mind. Only on Oh No America you'll find.